was scheduled to get married January this year, and then the coronavirus outbreak began to happen. After that, he made a decision to postpone his marriage ceremony. He chose instead to serve many suffering patients. Later on, he was infected, hospitalized, and died at the age of 29. Hi, this is Pastor Daniel. Peng Yinhua is a young, optimistic, and hard-working doctor from Wuhan, China. He was known among his colleagues as a diligent doctor, very motivated at work, and never complaining about difficulties. When the coronavirus outbreak began in early January, Dr. Peng was called in to help a large number of patients who came without stopping to the hospital. Working together with other doctors and nurses, he treated more than 150 patients every day at the First People's Hospital. As a doctor, Peng realized he had responsibilities and burden to help others in need. That is why Dr. Peng, who was scheduled to get married on January, immediately postponed the wedding ceremony with the intention to help treating patients everywhere who are suffering. He even never had the chance to send his wedding invitations to friends and colleagues. Those invitations were still kept in his office drawer. On January 24, he began showing symptoms of infections, including loss of appetite and mild fever. After being admitted to the hospital on January 25, his condition dramatically worsened February the 10th. Finally, he passed away 10 days after that at the age of 29. Dr. Peng's colleagues were saying that even after being transferred to the intensive care unit, he still expressed his wishes that he could recover and return to the antivirus front line. Now we have to admit that some doctors and healthcare workers do their jobs as professions only. Some doctors even work to accumulate wealth. But we also know that there are many doctors and nurses who work on the basis of the call to serve. That is why they work with their hearts, and they even willingly sacrifice their lives for others. Therefore, today we see many doctors and nurses are heroes right now. Doctors, nurses, caregivers, and other health care workers, they are warriors and heroes in many countries. All of them are saving many lives at the front line in the hospitals everywhere. They are helping a lot of patients from the coronavirus pandemic all over the world. God bless all of these heroes on the front lines, and we have to salute and appreciate their amazing service and dedication. But do you know that being a medical doctor or a nurse today involves a great risk? Do you realize that so many doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers died from January to early May this year? The coronavirus pandemic is taking a heavy death toll on the healthcare workers in many countries around the world. One Italian doctor describes the situation like this: the coronavirus is worse than a bomb. Another doctor in New York City says, you can smell death while working among dying patients. Actually, Dr. Pang Yinhua already knew the risk, but he took the risk. Got infected and died in his service for mankind. He will forever remain a selfless sacrifice who served with his heart for others. Today, the world needs people who wish to do something for others with their heart. In the midst of coronavirus uncertainty, the world needs people with compassion in their hearts. This is what the Lord Jesus has been showing us in the Bible, especially from Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were confused and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Pay attention to that phrase. When he saw the crowd, Jesus sees the situation in front of him not as a problem, but as a challenge and as an opportunity. Do we see the COVID-19 pandemic as a situation to be avoided, as a problem to be turned away, or do you see it as a challenge and as an opportunity to do something good for others, for mankind? Jesus does not turn away. He perceives the challenge as an opportunity to do something for the lost and for the needy. Many people, including believers, sometimes cannot see like the way Jesus sees. Many people see with their natural eyes only. But Jesus teaches us to look with spiritual eyes. When we see this broken world with spiritual eyes, we will see from the perspective of Jesus. That is, to see the world with a heart of compassion. Now, what is compassion? A dictionary explained it as a deep awareness of the suffering of another, accompanied by the wish to relieve it. In a shorter phrase, compassion is suffering with another. The Lord Jesus' compassion is actually a reference to his stomach or intestines, because the term compassion comes from the Greek word splachna. The term splachna points to the seat of emotions or feelings, which is in the stomach. So you can say his heart goes out. When Jesus sees the people in need, he feels their pain in his heart. That feeling moves him. That feeling burns in his soul. In other words, Jesus cares for the people in need. He suffers with them. He concerns about their situations and problems. So we have to ask this question to ourselves. Why are we so unconcerned to the situation and the people in need right now? The coronavirus outbreak has been going on these 5 months, and we can see so many people are helpless and inwardly devastated everywhere. Do we care for these people? And do we have concerns to those in need of our help? Too many men and women, including Christians, cannot see the painful realities of human suffering. We tend to focus on our own lives, our own families, and our own businesses. We tend to care only to the selfish enjoyment in our own life. The endless entertainment day after day. That is why too many people simply do not have time to think about this world and its needs. But when you have compassion, you will look outside the narrow circle of your own life. Because compassion is not passive. It is always active. It doesn't stand still. It is always moving. People with compassion will not ignore the problem. And if you have compassion, you will not turn away when someone is in need. Compassion is always love in action. Or to put it in a simple way, no action means no compassion. No action means no compassion. Because if you truly have compassion, you will be moved to do something for others. The great theologian Augustine says, what is compassion but a kind of fellow feeling in our hearts for the misery of another, which compels us to help him if we can. Many doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers have done their part in helping thousands of patients everywhere. Most of us cannot do what the doctors and nurses have done, but we still have an opportunity to do something right now. That is to do compassion in our power and position for those who are suffering in our community and neighbor. Now is the time to show your love. Now is the time to do something for this world, for the poor, for the underprivileged, for people in their struggle. Now is the time to sacrifice something. Now is the time to give and distribute your wealth to the needy. As one businessman mentioned correctly, what good is wealth sitting in the bank? Therefore, if you do it in all sincerity, with compassion in your heart, that shall be something you will never regret the rest of your life. And the Lord Jesus himself has emphasized this in the Bible when he says, you will have a greater blessing when you give than when you receive. For the first time in this century, the world will face more and more difficulties. Unemployment, businesses collapse, and increase in poverty. The poor will become poorer, and millions of people will go into hunger or even famine, especially in some less developed countries. The world needs you. The world needs you and me, in the name of God, to do something good and beautiful for others who are in suffering. We are living in a crucial time in history, and there will be a lot of uncertainty happening in the days to come. However, there is one thing we can do, and we must do right now. Show your compassion like the Lord Jesus. Never before has there been such greater opportunities to do good, to do compassion in such a time like this. If we don't act right now, those opportunities will pass very quickly, because the opportunity to do good is not always available, and you will regret it rest of your life. Don't do that to yourself. God used each one of you to be channels of His blessing for others.